Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with a tea break. Whoa! What a weekend for weather. You know, I get that at the races, but not in the middle of the country. I really don't. But anyway, why do the four-wheelers have to be so noisy? Right? Anyway, we went to the races this weekend. Now, racing this year is not going to be what it normally is. Gas prices have gone way up, and the cost of living, food, automotive parts, fertilizer, all of those things have been impacted by the rise in gas prices. They've also been impacted due to weather. They've also been impacted due to shipping constraints and stuff during the pandemic. So you think about this, pre-pandemic, our cost of living, it has doubled. But there's no wage increases, all of these things. Everything has gone up because of the pandemic. Everything has gone up now because of gas prices and the war over there impacted us. So racing this year, excuse me, I've got something in my eye. There we go. Racing this year is going to be hit and miss for the simple reason that the cost of gas to drive that motor home to the track, pay the exorbitant money for the special gas or the high octane gas, it's really expensive. So we're kind of picking and choosing. I know how he's doing extra work outside of his shop, and his shop has sponsored where he works. CSN Collision Centers on Hunt Club in Ottawa, they've sponsored the paint job on his car, right? So that actually helped us financially, not because they gave us any money, but because we didn't have to paint the car after all the modifications Howie put on it. So we have to pick and choose our races very carefully. And this was opening weekend, and there's a lot of anniversaries for us for the May long weekend. Both my children were conceived on the May long weekend. And the first week of June is our sobriety anniversaries, the day we met, the day his father passed away, my mother's birthday. So a lot of anniversaries in a 1 week period for us. And it is a big race. It's the opening season race. So we went, despite the fact that there were weather warnings of rain all weekend. So we got there about 6:30 Friday night, and I never left the coach because you guys saw me gardening with buckets, right? Every one of those buckets had to be lifted onto that thing. So, and I'm not supposed to lift anything over 10 pounds. Ha! So anyway, my legs and my back were not conducive to me climbing in and out of the coach. So I figured we were going to be there all weekend. I can visit when I'm feeling better, right? So didn't last that long, did it? Friday night, Howie went and did test and tune. I did Freaky Friday. He did his test and tune. And then Saturday, they started, he did a couple of test runs, dialed it in. Now he red lit. Now he didn't win anything, but they began to be rushed because we were getting word that it was going to rain Saturday night and all day today, which it is. Kind of raining right now. Yeah, it's raining. And so they're trying to get Saturday's races and Sunday's races all clocked in before the weather hits, right? So it kind of puts a lot of pressure on and stuff. However, they had to cut the second they had to cut the race short. The race is short because of inclement weather. Now, Howie's outside putting the car on the trailer because we figured if it's going to be canceled for the rest of the weekend, we'll go home in the morning, right? Today. He's outside on the trailer, manhandling a race car onto it, and I look out the dash, and the sky is black. And Gracie starts pacing between the door and the bedroom window. She's trying to see Daddy out the bedroom window, and she's going back and forth. And all of a sudden, I get the on my phone that says severe weather warning. If you see this coming, take shelter. Literally, that's what it said. And so I phoned Howie and said, where the hell are you? I'm getting the car on the trailer. I said, get in here. There's a big storm coming. And he goes, yeah. So just before I saw the black sky, I was, going to organize us something to eat. And all of a sudden, I just kind of went, whoa, and I had a really bad dizzy spell. And I made it to my chair. And I was discombobulated for about a minute and a half. And during that discombobulation, the weather warning came on. And so I phoned Howie and I said, you gotta get in here, man, and shut some windows. I've damn near fainted. I don't know what's going on, but there's weather coming in, right? And he goes, yeah. Well, by God, no sooner had he said I hung up than you could hear everybody outside, kids and parents and stuff, getting all wound up and excited. And they're packing up because not everybody has a motor coach to shelter in, right? And you hear the announcer from the tower going, everybody get off the grandstands. Those are metal framed grandstands. See the lightning coming? Everybody get off the grandstands, take shelter, kind of thing. And just then, the wind, like within a minute or so, the wind just kind of hit the side of the coach and blew rain like a mist through all the screens. And I swear the only reason my coach didn't topple is because the windows were open, right? So I'm like, whoa! And people are going, what? You can hear them going on outside. And I'm going, Howard, get in here, right? And he just comes in. And like he slammed the door and he's out of my way, woman. And he's shutting all these windows. And I'm telling you, we were like on the outside circle of a tornado. We had to have been. Or I don't know if it touched down or what. But 2 trailers at the other end of the race strip blew over. One went over at least twice into a cornfield. And the other one just flipped over to the edge. And then there was another one that toppled over, but there was some shrubs there, so it kind of caught on the shrubs. And the hail, oh my God, it was like I wanted to put my seatbelt on thinking we were going to end up in Kansas or something, right? Now, I know the damage was not as extensive as, say, had we lived in Kansas and a tornado came through. But we here in Canada, we're not used to this, right? So after it went through, Howie and I are like, we're looking at each other going, if our trailer had not been pointed directly into the wind, and if the windows hadn't been open, we might have toppled. And Howie goes, no, we're good. So after it all dies down, 20 minutes later, the sun's starting to come out. And I'm like, and he said, we could have raced. I said, no, he's canceled because he knows that there's more coming, right? More rain. So we decide to pack up and come home. And I filmed, toppled trees and stuff, but there was stuff I didn't catch with my camera because we were past it before I even saw it. Like somebody's above ground pool, tree on it. Somebody's car, tree on it. Somebody's garage toppled into the ditch. It was like serious, and it cut a wide swath. So if any of my friends out there in the United States and Ontario and Quebec and New Brunswick and all that stuff got hit by that storm, Let me know. I'd like to know actually how far it went. And let's face it, social media is faster and more accurate than the news half the time, right? When it comes to stuff like this. Like within minutes of that happening, I was getting posts from Napanee and Peterborough and stuff hours away, hours and hours away. Where there was a lot worse damage than what we suffered. But on the way home, as we came over the mountain, we went through the Notch Road, and it's almost like the mountains protected our side of the mountains, because, or our side of the mountain ridge, because the storm hit our area, but it didn't topple much. It didn't put the power out. But I mean, places like Peterborough and Ottawa and Pembroke, I mean, people were killed. Power's still out in some places. And I was hearing of damage in Ohio. So please, let me know. May 22nd, 2022, let me know if you got hit with a storm, because I'd be really interested to find out how bad it was and what time of day. So anyway, 24 hours after we trundle into the racetrack, we trundle on out and we come home and everything's smooth. Howie's having weather sensitive headaches right now, so he's taking the day off. He's in the motor coach watching TV, and I'm going to make some dinner, and hopefully tomorrow we will get at least 4 more beds planted, because I'm telling you guys, I'm starting to feel like the little old lady, the old black and white picture of the little old lady coming in from the field saying, "You're about to find out why I washed my tinfoil and saved my bacon grease." Well, folks, I sometimes reuse tinfoil. Like when I do fries on a cookie sheet, I cover it with tinfoil. I'll just wipe that sheet off until it gets ripped. I'll just wash that sheet off, right stuck to the cookie tin. I'll rewash. I've told you can, as long as it's not burnt or ripped, you can rewash and hang dry your parchment paper. And of course I save meat drippings. They go through a fine mesh sieve into a jar in the fridge. Because I was raised by parents who were born in the 1920s and remember the Great Depression. Right? That's why I'm putting in, well, let's see now. I wrote this all down. I put in, you saw what I put in, 3 tomato plants plus basil. And then there's my herb bed, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, plus chives. And I put my basil in the front tomatoes. And in my herb bed, I've only got 9 leeks. So I'm going to plant 5 leeks in the herb bed and 4 behind the tomato plants that have the basil in front of them. Because, I'm not using a whole bed just for leeks. Because I have 21 beds out back and I still shy 2 that I need. So, I mean, it's like I've got 4 beds. I got 21 beds out back right now. I got 4 beds of root vegetables, the beets, the parsnips, and the rutabagas. I'm going to need 3 more for tomatoes, 5 for beans, 2 for celery, 2 for zucchini, because I'm doing lots of zucchini this year. 2, I might be able to plant 1 zucchini in a pot. 2 for peppers and 1 for onions. And I still need, and I got 1 coming for chard and 1 chard, which I should have 2, 1 for chard, 1 for spinach, and 2 more for cabbage. So we've got an old soap barrel, and I'm going to get Howie to cut the top and the bottom off and then cut it in half, and I will have 2 rings, and that will give me 2 more beds, 1 for, say, chard and 1 for spinach. And then I can put the zucchini in the other bed, right? So, I mean, I'm still getting, I'm still trying to find places to plant stuff. because right now I have almost doubled my bed size. Oh, and the garlics are coming up. That they volunteered from last year. So we just lifted the beds nice and carefully off of them. What you're hearing, folks, is my anxiousness at how much worse this just might get. So, cut corners where you can. If you have to if you only got run one, yes, you can stock up, but not everybody's that, not everybody is able to shop at Costco or Sam's, right? Not everybody wants to, right? So don't be afraid. If you've got a cookie sheet covered in tinfoil that you bake your fries on, don't be afraid once you've dumped that onto a plate to give it, a squirt of Dawn and wash it off and rinse it off and put it back. Don't be afraid to reuse your tinfoil. Don't be afraid to wash your parchment and use it again. Don't be afraid to save your meat drippings. And if you can, plant something, even if it's in pots on your balcony, because I haven't been this worried in a long time, right? And I'm not saying we have to be worried. I'm just saying we should be smart. All right? There's all kinds of, look at the fact that airplanes have been hitting food manufacturing plants or food storage warehouses or food packaging plants, have been having electrical fires and gas main breakages and explosions and all this stuff. Last count I heard, there were like 45 places across the US that all had something to do with food that suffered a catastrophic incident. Okay? Now we've got weather, avian bird flu, and on Friday I heard that the monkeypox are coming out. So, who knows? That just might be the next pandemic. God help us all, because we still haven't recovered from the first one. So I'm just saying, be smart, be resourceful, and let's start looking at more ways to, for instance, on the Connected Respectful Hearts Facebook page, we do a Christmas card exchange every year. And if you're not Christian, you don't put any religious connotation on Christmas. You just, you can send a greeting card. If you're Jewish, send a greeting card of a different kind. It doesn't really matter. It's a card exchange. We do it every year from our Connected Respectful Hearts. Last year, and the year before, we did recipe exchanges. And I'm still working on sorting through all the recipes I got the first year. So what we do is I start asking at the end of October, okay, who wants to be on the card exchange list? And then you get 5 names and you send a card to each of those 5 names. And then the next person down the list gets 5 names. And what happens is you get anywhere from 10 to 15 greeting cards. And the beauty of that is there's a lot of people who don't have a lot of family or friends. And it's really nice to be remembered, over the holidays, right? But this year, we're planning a seed exchange. So for instance, I'm going to harvest. Now, you don't have to harvest the seeds to exchange it, but say I'm going to get five names on the list. And in those 5 greeting cards, I'm going to put a planting of seeds, whether it's a store-bought package or whether it's something I've harvested, say for my Manitoba tomatoes, because a lot of people are having a hard time getting those, right? Like, how I harvest them onto a piece of paper towel, and you saw how fast they come up when I do it that way. So, everybody who gets 5 names is going to put a packet of seeds or a planting of seeds in each card. And then we mail them out. And at Christmas time or over the holidays, when you get 10 or 5 or 10 cards coming in, Isn't it wonderful to get a little packet of seeds inside? Right? Isn't that wonderful? So that's what we're doing this year. I know I'm talking about Christmas and gardening a lot, but you can tell it's one of those things that's right up here in my my mind, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get 50-pound bags of carrots this year for $8. I don't know if all of these happenings are going to affect the prices at the farmers market. I would rather not find out. I would rather just plant everything I can and hope for the 50-pound bags of carrots, right? So this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, let me know if you got hit by that really bad weather yesterday. You know, we only have control over today, but we have lessons from yesterday that will help us get through tomorrow. Don't ever forget that. Use your noodle. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. I've got another, I'm going to be doing some Depression era recipe box videos real soon. Take care. God bless.